Focus TV, Season 6, Episode 39. We're joined, as always, we got Octavia Wyatt, Cardo Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpe Jr. Again, welcome to this week's edition of the Focus TV. Got some NFC East updates, which should be fun. Octavia, I'm interested in your thoughts on a specific matchup this week. You got WNBA playoff updates, DC United news as well, and then looking forward to what Cardo has for us in rapid fire. But we're going to start again. Octavia, the floor is yours with the NFC East.
Well, it's a very interesting week for the NFC East. I do say so myself. I think we went from being having one of the best records in the division wide, to not having so great of a week. It was tough for a lot of teams this week. I'll go ahead and start with the home team, Washington Commanders. They played against the Buffalo Bills, and it did not go well at all. They lost to the Buffalo Bills 37-3. Sam Howell was 19 of 29, 170 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 1 carry for 18 yards. Brian Robinson Jr. had 10 carries for 70 yards, and Curtis Samuels had 2 receptions for 54 yards. Just the fact that I feel like I didn't even have to mention Terry McLaurin is always weird to me, because I feel like he should always be involved and be one of the top, getting most of the receptions, but they couldn't do anything literally all day. And I mean, it was bad. it was really bad. And what's crazy, it goes back to all of the quote unquote cliche things you want to say about the team. The offensive line was horrendous. They have basically a rookie quarterback who you could tell was trying to push the ball down the field at times. 4 interceptions is just nasty at that point. Just looks like he wasn't making good decisions. When they get behind really early, I feel like a lot of people just feel like they got to press it to kind of get back in the game. And with the success that the Commanders have had so far this year, I always think that's in the back of their mind as well. They feel like the franchise is doing better. So, of course, they want to compete. And playing against the Buffalo Bills is definitely going to give you an opportunity to compete against a top-tier team. And they just completely fell short. They were gifted with 3 points. We can say that. It was pretty much down towards the end of the game, getting ready to be a shutout. Sam Howell was sacked 9 times through 4 interceptions. He was pressured on 69.2% of his 39 dropbacks, the second highest pressure rate ever recorded in the NGS era, which says a lot. Sacked 9 times, and to be completely honest, the Buffalo Bills have a good defense. They don't even have Von Miller out there anymore. And there are a lot of great defenses in the league, that sometimes when you talk about it, you don't always go straight to Buffalo. So Buffalo to get 9 sacks, 4 interceptions was crazy. Although it was such a blowout, in the fourth quarter, it was a 2-possession game at one point. After all of the sacks and the turnovers and everything, the Commanders had a little bit of life. You know, they had a chance to maybe do a little something. But another turnover occurred with Antonio Gibson, who fumbled in Washington territory, giving the Bills the ball. It just didn't go well. You know, gave them the ball at 30-yard line. Then after that, Howell did another interception. Tried to throw the ball over AJ Epinesa, who they kept saying, you know, used to play basketball with Jason Tatum growing up in AAU. And he was out there looking like, you know, a basketball player, intercepted a ball that was trying to get thrown down the court, and he ran back for a pick 6. And it was just a mess all day. Just wasn't a good day for the Commanders. Their defense pretty much didn't do anything either. Montez Sweat put a little bit of pressure on Allen early, but after that, that was basically it. The Commanders finished with 0 sacks. Allen was hit just 1 time and 23 dropbacks, and he rushed for 46 yards and a touchdown. Their offensive line continues to be a problem. Again, they allowed 9 sacks. It's the most in the game since last season versus the Eagles. I believe we had 7 on them last year. Granted, you know, the interceptions, some of them were on Sam Howell, some of them were definitely on the offensive line. So you can't even really know who to blame more in the situation. Sam Howell, got to make better decisions and quicker decisions. Held onto the ball a little bit long, which caused some of those sacks. And then the offensive line, particularly Wiley on the right side, wasn't giving him great protection. So it was just an all around debacle. And to me, they were never really in the game. They say that it was a 2-possession game at one point. It just never looked good at all. So they'll go back to the drawing board again to see what they can come up with. But it gets, again, a little bit tougher. We have another interdivision game this week, and they will be traveling, as will I, up to Philadelphia to play against the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. So that shall be a great situation, and I will report back live from all the things that I see. Next, we'll go to the Thursday night game, which was also a debacle in the NFC East. The New York Giants played against the San Francisco 49ers, and they lost 30-12. Daniel Jones was 22 of 32, 137 yards, also 0 touchdowns and 1 interception, 2 carries for 5 yards. Matt Breida, replacing Saquon Barkley, who was out with a high ankle sprain, had 4 carries and 17 yards for 1 touchdown and 3 receptions for 1 yard. And Darius Slayton had 3 receptions for 32 yards. Another debacle, I'll be honest. I went to sleep early this game because it was Thursday and I had to work the next day and I didn't want to stay up and watch that nonsense. It was just bad. And to add insult to injury, they had a lot of injuries that happened in their game. Arguably, we talk about, of course, Saquon Barkley being out. Their left tackle, Andrew Thomas, as well, was not there. Fortunately for them, Thomas seems to be progressing to be able to play. They played on Thursday. They don't play again until Monday. We're going to have to talk to the schedule makers about giving them so many primetime games because it's ridiculous at this point. It's week 3, and I think every single one of their games has been a primetime game. Maybe I might miss one, but I don't need to see any more. Yeah, so their injuries are a mess. Darren Waller, who's also slightly injured, but I believe is playing through a thigh or hamstring injury. He was basically non-existent as well. Daniel Jones, again, his offensive line could not protect him, so he's been running for his life all year. They have now, every week, I feel like the New York Giants pass some type of historic mark, and it's never for a good thing. They are now the team solely in position of the NFL's longest streak of a game without a 100-yard rusher at 13 games in a row. And that's even including the games that Saquon Barkley has played. So that was kind of surprising as well, that he hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game as well. It's a little bit sad, to be completely honest. The Giants only ran the football 11 times in the game. Granted, without Saquon Barkley, I can understand it. But I didn't understand how they were going to get anybody else involved because they were behind so fast and didn't look like any of those throws were connecting to any of their open receivers. They weren't able to scheme their fastest wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt, into the game at all. I mean, their leading receiver had 3 receptions for 32 yards and Darius Slayton. And it was just sloppy all the way around. There were so many missed tackles as well. And the 49ers just did what they want. They've been playing great all year, so it wasn't a surprise. I thought they would put up a little bit more effort, the Giants, but yeah, the Giants were 3 of 10 on their third downs in the game. And it just was just a mess. So, like, most of these games this week were a mess when it comes to the NFC East. It just was not pleasant to watch. So I'm sure a lot of these teams are just trying to either throw away the tape and start all over this week because they have had some positives in weeks 1 and 2. And maybe they're chalking this up to just, a misstep, but they all have a lot of work to do. Doesn't get easier as well. They'll play against Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks, which Seahawks look pretty decent this year as well. They're definitely going to put up a fight. But I'm losing my faith in my NFC East teams. Um, so follow up a loss with another loss. The Dallas Cowboys played against the Arizona Cardinals, and they lost to the Cardinals 28-16. Dak Prescott was 25 of 40, one touchdown, one interception, 3 carries for 24 yards. Tony Pollard had 23 carries for 122 yards and 3 receptions for -1 yards. And Michael Gallup had 6 receptions, 92 yards. And Rico Dowdle had 4 carries, 21 yards, and 3 receptions for 25 yards and 1 touchdown. This was probably the biggest surprise of the weekend. I'm sure everybody has heard. I play in multiple pick 'em pools, and I did not see this coming. As much as I would have enjoyed for the Cowboys to lose. I picked them to win. And it just looked like a complete 180 from the team that we've seen in weeks 1 and 2. It looked like, and everybody likes to say this, or if people who aren't Cowboys fans, I assume, they look like the Cowboys of old last week. There were a lot of penalties in that game. They had 13 penalties for 107 yards. And they came at inopportune times. There was one that was a flag on a special teams play where Kayvon Turpin returned, a pretty good return and wiped off 61 yards in that. They get a lot of pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties. It literally looked like the team from last year. Their offense didn't look that spry, although a lot of times I think so far this year they haven't looked that great, but they never had to look that great because their defense was playing so well. Their defense was not playing well this week. I can't fathom that the loss of Trayvon Diggs with the ACL injury for the year was the reason, because they couldn't stop the run either. So it just looked like a completely different team. The Cowboys gave up carries of 26 yards, 44 yards, and 45 yards in the first half alone. It just didn't look like they could do anything. And 44 of those yards was the quarterback, Josh Dobbs, who has been in Arizona for 3 weeks. I mean, every time I get an alert on Bleacher Reports, it's something about him. He can't get into the facility. They don't have no jerseys to sell of him at the game, but this guy is running 45 yards up and down the field. And I mean, a team in the Arizona Cardinals who we all pretty much thought they were punting the season, they played hard in their first 3 games. And although, this game was good for them, it wasn't good for the Cowboys. And now the Cowboys on the outside looking in, where the Arizona Cardinals have lost to the Washington Commanders as well as the New York Giants. So to see them not be able to get a win after those 2 teams have was definitely got to be disheartening if you're a Cowboys fan. And I hate to always put it back on Dak because I don't think he's the end all be all when it comes to their issues. But the one thing that everybody's always looking for is for the quarterback to elevate the team. In a game where your defense isn't playing great, you sometimes are going to need your quarterback to step up and do something special. And unfortunately, he threw his first interception of the season in the most inopportune time in the red zone with 3 red jerseys around. I didn't even barely see a white jersey where he threw it. So those are the things that people talk about. It's not just the interceptions, it's the timing of the interceptions at times and just knowing when to do the right thing. So it was definitely one of those games where you kind of scratch your head, like what happened with the Cowboys this week after the dominant performances that we've seen in weeks 1 and 2. Although I'm a big proponent of saying you have to play who's in front of you, I was slightly concerned that, weeks 1, they annihilated the Giants. Week 2, they annihilated the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. We know what's going on out there with Zach Wilson. But I still thought they would win this game. Now, next week, they're going to be playing against the New England Patriots, who has a very good defense. And we'll see if Dak can bring, his offense with him this week. And we'll see if their defense gets back on track, because as great as the Patriots defense is, their offense is probably their Achilles heel in the equation. But they got to play, great in all 3 phases of the game. And they're going to need Dak to kind of do some things that's going to help them win games at times where it looks like their defense might not be playing as great as they can. Last but not least, I joke with one of my Cowboys friends that, we had to save the division this week or else it would have been an 0 for 4. The Philadelphia Eagles played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Monday night. They defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 25-11. Jalen Hurts was 23 of 37, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 10 carries for 28 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift had 16 carries for 130 yards. A.J. Brown had 9 receptions for 131. And Olamide Zaccheaus had 2 receptions for 58 yards and 1 touchdown. I'll be the first to say that everybody's been talking about all morning and all day when it comes to this. They don't look their best. But to not look your best and still be 3-0 is a lot of teams wish they didn't. The Dallas Cowboys wish they didn't look their best yesterday on Sunday and that they wish they still won the game. And if not looking your best is literally, I think we had 400 plus rushing yards during the in the game. DeAndre Swift has been a godsend. If anybody didn't know before if he would be running back 1 or 2, he's 1. And there's no question Kenneth Gainwell will definitely be a comparable backup to him. But it's Swift. The way he was able to, hit the gaps. And granted, he definitely gets a lot of those because the offensive line is great, to be completely honest. They're hitting their stride. I don't think they were great in games 1 or 2, but they hit their stride last night. And they were just opening up massive holes for him to run through. They rushed. So he rushed for a career high of 175 yards versus the Vikings in week 2. Followed that up by averaging 8.1 yards per carry and 130-yard rushing effort this week. Again, as long as he can stay healthy, which has always to me just been his issue, if he can stay healthy, there's nothing that he's the guy. I know that the Philadelphia Eagles have done running back by committee for a very long time. This is the time to let him cook, in my opinion. On the flip side of it, the defense was just immaculate. This is the defense that we've known for the last year or 2 or however long you want to say. They entered the game on Monday definitely with, questions in the secondary, with Avonte Maddox being out for the year with a pec. They slid James Bradbury to the nickel, definitely put in a lot of rookies with Sidney Brown, who made an impressive stop in the game, as well as Josh Jobe having to step up a lot with Mario Goodrich being out as well on injury. And they were able to kind of keep it together because the front 4 was cooking. I know a lot of people keep saying, how did Jalen Carter fall to 9? I thank God every night that he did, because he is a problem. The fact that he is a rookie and he's already being double teamed and freeing up people like Fletcher Cox to get to the ball, Brandon Graham to get to the ball. And even his effort, there was one play where he wasn't able to get to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield kicked it off. I think it was one of their rookies. I can't even think the name. He came from behind and did the peanut punch and got another turnover. It was just a great performance by the defense. Interception, forced fumble, a safety. They just did everything all around, and they kept the Buccaneers at bay for most of the game. They only had 99 yards through the first 3 quarters, but they did manage a 75 play yard touchdown and converted on a 2-point conversion on a nasty catch by Mike Evans. And I'll be honest, Mike Evans left a lot on the table as well. He had a lot of drops that had he not dropped it, the game could have been different. But even on the flip side, A.J. Brown had a lot of drops as well. It did start raining during the game, which is not an excuse, but he had a lot of drops as well and still ended with 9 receptions and 131 yards. He definitely would have had a touchdown. Jalen Hurts did make some ill-advised throws. He had 2 interceptions. I really think one of them was just a miscommunication between him and Swift. And then the other one was just an amazing interception by, I think it's D something for the Buccaneers, that he tracked the ball all the way over and intercepted it when he was trying to get the ball into the end zone of Smitty. But But all in all, I mean, again, not an excuse, but there was a lot of sick people in the game. Apparently, Jalen had flu-like symptoms. Not an excuse. You out there on the field, you healthy enough to play. And I think he did a decent job. Last but not least, to me, the special teams has always been a very scary situation. This is probably the best special team effort I've seen in a very long time. Most of the times when it comes down to kick returns, punt returns, it's not a lot. Not a lot happens. Brenton Covey has been pulled up from the practice squad, and he was able to get his longest return. Finally showing some sparks of why he's the returner. But yeah, it was a great all in all game. You know, I still don't think they're playing their best. They don't think they're playing their best. But they'll have another home game this week, playing against the Washington Commanders. I am super pumped to be there. I will probably be insufferable when I come back. I'll just let you guys know that now. But yeah, so NFC East is kicking along. We'll see what happens next week because everybody has some good teams they're going to play up against. And then I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks when the Cowboys play against the 49ers. That's going to be good. But yeah, we'll get there.
1 week at a time.
I know, yeah. I'm just forecasting.
Nah, man, 1 week at a time. Good health each and every week, so anybody can ask for. In the NFL, we're gonna take a first break when we get back. It's that time where it's a new issue of Finance Magazine out. So Cardell's gonna tell you guys about it as soon as we get back from the break. You watching the Focus TV? Welcome back to the Focus TV, Cardell. Floor is yours. New issue alert.
Yeah, I'm just bringing my annual issue of WNBA season awards. I always try to like to dedicate an issue during the summer to the WNBA. Kind of bring home our season long, basically summer long coverage of the league. As popular as it may seem, they're still undercovered. As you've seen with some of the voting, which we will get into later on. Some crazy voting going on, but yeah, man, I try to just highlight the ladies, man. They get it done. They always seem to promote the same type of stars, but I don't think people understand that this season especially, you just seen kind of the young wave of coming. They starting to let the older vets that have been established for the last 10, 15 years, let them know they on borrowed time. You know what I mean? And they're not in there all of them. They coming at their head, you know what I mean? They're trying to get theirs. They're trying to get rings. They're trying to get MVPs, trying to get all that, man. So you can't knock it, man. So just trying to, spotlight who I feel should get, select awards, from rookie of the year, coach of the year, comeback player of the year, to the all defensive teams, to all WNBA team, to MVP. And it's going to be in this issue. Make sure y'all get to findthismag.com. Check it out. All you gotta do is just click on the cover, take you right to the issue, and take your time and read it, man. It's just something I like to do. Definitely, it's fun to do, and something I'm always continue to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially as long as we cover the WNBA, so to speak, because it's needed, man. They gotta really see who's putting in work, and even though they're undercover, and then it's the I feel like it's the same old players and teams cover. And it's a lot more talent around the league that need to have a spotlight on them, man. So that's what I'm trying to give them.
Definitely appreciated. You guys do exactly what he said. Get over to finestmag.com to check out the latest issue. We're gonna stick with the WNBA theme of things. Slide over to our playoff update. Let you guys know where we are this week. Last week when we talked, we were headed towards the semifinals. So a quick recap into how we got here. We got the Aces beat the Sky 2-0. The Wings beat the Dream 2-0. The Liberty beat the Mystics 2-0. And the Sun beat the Lynx 2-1. Currently in the semifinals, the Dallas Wings trail the Las Vegas Aces 1-0. The Liberty trail the Connecticut Sun 1-0. They're currently down 10 in game 2. So we'll see how that turns out at the time that this is being recorded. That said, just a reminder too, before we find out Carter Octavia have to say about the semifinals, which is also interesting. A lot of these things are going to tie together. Like Cardell brought up the issue into the awards, into what's currently happening, into rapid fire. You gotta love symmetry, right? Just gotta love it. So we got Wings Aces, we got Liberty Sun. All three members of that, all three of the top three vote getters MVP race, the three finalists, I should say, are actively playing right now in the playoffs. That said, reminder: this is the 5-game variety of 5-game portion of the playoffs. I'm sorry, excited, can't get my words together. It's 3-5-5, so that's why you guys saw 2-0, 2-1, what have you. So now, even though people are up 1-0, possibly 2-0 tonight, we'll see how things go. You need 3 wins in this round. So just a reminder: last round needed 2, this round need 3. Cardell, we're gonna start with you, man. Your thoughts on the playoffs?
Well, so far in the other semifinal bracket, I guess you could say on the West, Aces handling business. Asia, who I felt should have been MVP. I'm getting into that a little bit later. Easily should have been MVP. Well, not easily. She should have had Asia on Alyssa Thomas. It should have been them too. But I'm getting into the whys and that and just keep it real. But she was dominant. That's what I mean. The reason why I felt she should have been an MVP, not only did they have the best record, but from the opening game of the season, she's been dominant, and it hasn't wavered at all. I think she had one bad game, and that was the game where the whole team just was off, and they lost bad. I forgot who beat them. It was like in the middle of the season. It was one of them blowout losses, uncharacteristic or whatnot. It was right around that time where Hamby was in the press for stuff. It was right around that time or whatnot, and then they lost. But she's been consistently dominant. And it's not just on offense, it's the defensive end as well. You know what I mean? But then, in the series, you got to deal with her. Sabali has much improved, but she's not ready for that right now. Well, no one can stop her, but she's not ready to match that where they can kind of cancel each other out. Well, one of the game was Plum and Jackie Young. They bombed them from 3, 10-16 between the two of them. I mean, you got Asia again, 34, and then they bomb you combined 10 for 16. I mean, what can you do? You try to double Asia, she kicking it out, and they lighten you up, so you got to stay, and then she gonna eat. You're not gonna win that game. It's as simple as that. You got to take something away, and the Wings didn't do that, and that's why they pretty much lost handily, 97-83. I think Plum had 25, 5 and 4, and Young had 19 and 10 boards. Asia had 34, 8 rebounds. You kind of get my drift. It got ugly. And keep in mind, they beat them that bad, and they only got 4 points from the bench. So, yeah, very convincing. In this other series, Connecticut, Coach of the Year. She coaching her ass off. She figuring some things out with them. And the player that got MVP, she's been MIA most of the playoffs. Yeah, and that's the thing. Now the playoffs, they may say it's a regular season award. I get it, but you're the MVP. You're supposed to be showing up. Right now in the playoffs, John Quill has been their best player. She's been saving them. You know what I mean? Even with the, in the Mystic series, who got the big rebound when INS missed those free throws. You see what I'm saying? And they never really had an answer for her. And right now she's going to work again, against Connecticut or whatnot. So they in the dogfight. I don't know what's up with Stewie, being 0 for 5. I've seen a lot of 0-4s from her lately with some bad shooting games, and she's too great for that. But when you get that award, it's gonna be a spotlight on you, and when part of that spotlight is no excuses. So, if she does what she should be doing, they probably got to leave right now. So we're gonna see what continues to happen. But I think Connecticut, their advantage, even though they're not scoring as much as their backcourt. They're more athletic, they're quicker, and they can get up on the INS school advantage sloop and make life hard for them. Life hard for them to get clean shots and make clean plays for Stewie to get shots in her sweet spots, and Jonquel. But Jonquel was just figuring it out off the rebounds, bringing it up, coming off the screen and rolls, and she just figuring it out a way. And also Tiffany Hayes, they forgot about her. Long time All-Star in the early days with the Dream. Her and Brittany Sykes were a pest. They were hell. Saw them for years, and they kind of forgot about her. So she's adding elements in them, man. She's having a way right now. And that's why they got the lead. And keep in mind, they got the lead, and Alyssa Thomas is off as well, and Bonner is 3 for 8. So it's gonna be interesting, man. You can tell in that series is a hell of a chess match, but right now UConn winning. I mean, not UConn, but Connecticut's winning that chess match. So the Liberty better figure some things out, man. Simple as that. So, but I'll on the West, I don't see the Wings kind of giving the Aces too much problems if they play their game. As big as they are, one thing they don't do well, they don't play smart all the time. You know what I'm saying? For their talent enough, they one of those teams like they can get up by 20, and then in the next 10 minutes they can go down by 20. It's like it's Dr. Jekyll, it's just crazy how it is with them, man. But they got the most talent in the world, and the size is crazy, the versatility, but to beat the Aces, be the team that's been there and done that, you got to execute for all 40, man. And that's why I feel like the Aces kind of got this as long as they play their game.
Octavia, your thoughts on the W playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't, like Cardell just said as well. I don't think that the Wings are going to have enough. I just think that the Aces are just a well-oiled machine at this point. All the stats that you just named as well, 34 by Asia, and to me they always look really, really easy. So I mean that I just don't think Dallas is going to be enough, and to see how Jackie Young has come. Like from playing, like I remember when she first got in the league and then she became like most improved player. Like she's a bucket, like, and it's just like I can't even explain it at this point. But I just think like short and sweet, like it's just gonna be too much for the Wings, and I expect to see the Aces in the next round fighting to defend, their championship from last year. And the other game, that one, it definitely got me interested. I also agree. I don't think Stewie's played well in the playoffs so far. We know how she struggled, even though they were able to beat the Mystics. We know how she struggled in that series with her shooting. It looks like it's still happening now. And the Connecticut Suns have been finding a way all year. Like you said, Coach of the Year. Coach has definitely been making sure she's been putting some things together. And they've had a lot of players step up for them as well. DeWanna Bonner I don't think she's ever aged at this point. Like, I feel like she's just been playing great for majority of her career. I know I read or heard an interview earlier this year where she said she felt like she played really bad last year and she let her team down. So she definitely made sure that she came into the season this year and made sure that she, I guess, atoned for how she felt like she played last year. And she definitely has. Alyssa Thomas, a walking triple-double, as we know. She just makes so many good plays, and she's very unselfish. I think I watched a play where I seen her set a pick like 6 times in the same series. So she's definitely making sure that she's moving the ball around. She's, helping out her teammates as well. I definitely think it's going to be, it's going to be a tight one, especially with the score right now, 34-29. And if the Sun can continue to, play well, and as long as they don't let Sabrina get hot, because Sabrina get hot, it could get a little interesting when it comes to her. I think sometimes when she gets to shooting, and it's kind of hard to get her off her spot, but I think it's definitely going to go down to the wire. Unless Stewie kind of turns it on real quick, real soon. But she's definitely been struggling so far in the playoffs. So it's definitely going to be a dogfight when it comes down to them, because I think Connecticut, is definitely trying to come back off. I think it was like not last year, but maybe it was last year. I can't remember who played in the finals last year. They were so close last year or the year before. They want their chance to get back there as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And I don't think you should, underestimate the fact that, they probably remember that Jonquel left, you left to go be a big 3 somewhere else. Oh, okay. So I always think the intangibles when it comes out to the game inside the game is always a thing. So we'll see how it goes, but it's definitely gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to how everything plays out, and look forward to updating you guys next week. Cardo, did you have anything else to add? Okay. We're going to take our second break. When we get back, let you guys know what DC United's been up to. Like I told you last week, they had a busy week, huge opportunity ahead of them, and I'll inform those of you who weren't aware what they did and how that opportunity worked out. You're watching the Focus TV. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV. I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up real quick. DC United highlights against the New York Red Bulls. What's gonna be on your screen in just a second. Look, very busy week for the Black and Red. At first, they took on Atlanta United FC. I believe that was on Thursday. They gave up a goal in the 14th minute, but respond with the equalizer in the 80th minute as Matthias Kleik found Gabriel Pirani for the score. That was Pirani's first official goal as a member of DC United. So that was a great. Obviously, would have liked to get the full 3-point result on Thursday. They weren't able to. That rolled into the game that you're watching now, which is a wild first half against the New York Red Bulls. This was a barn burner in horrible weather. Things got started early here. You see Cameron Harper finding Omar Fernandez with a clever flick in the middle of the box to put the Red Bulls up 1-0. DC would even things up a bit later as Pirani headed it off a corner. He gets it at the right at the near post, heads it back to a waiting Benteke, who does the rest. Then in the 35th minute, we're going to see Benteke score his second goal of the half. Then New York gets a penalty kick. And DC gets a penalty kick. There were 6 goals scored in this first half. Just let this play out. It was that crazy of a first half. This is Benteke's first goal. He would end up scoring all 3 goals for DC United in the half. So it was a huge performance by him. Great job by DC answering after going down a goal. They would go down a goal and then score 2 goals to take a 2-1 lead. The bad part about it is you went down a goal, you went back up a goal, but you couldn't keep the Red Bulls from responding. And that's just the tail of the first half. Was both teams kept responding to the other until the half would run out. It would be a ton of stoppage time, had a ton of stops in this first half, and that's how it would go into the half at 3-3. This is Benteke's second goal. This is just sticking with it through the scrum here. Good job of Matthias Klick there, running onto the header from Benteke. But the second half was on New York. For everything DCU did in the first half, second half was on New York. They capitalized on their opportunities. They took a lead in the 57th minute. It was off a set piece, this time off a corner kick. Sean Nellis would lose his marker. He went up top, knocks the header down, and beats the keeper. And that was something that DC has struggled with at times this year on set pieces, just losing their man. Just Cardell, what they say in basketball, you're in a bad situation where it's not ball you man. Like it's that simple. You lose your man, terrible things happen, regardless of the sport. Nothing good comes from it. Right here is just a penalty kick for New York to get back in it, makes it 2-2. Then we'll see Benteke get his penalty kick in just a bit. But then DC United wasn't able to respond back to New York once New York made it 4-3. And then the Red Bulls in stoppage time of the second half would get their final goal to cap it off with a 5-3 victory. The loss against the Red Bulls coupled with the draw against Atlanta currently has DC United on the outside of the playoff line at this moment, which is why last week was important. You definitely couldn't afford to lose both games. The draw is the only thing that kept this from being worse, right? Because you would have one less point and you would be 2 points behind what is now the 9th place team. DC's in 10th. They trail NYCFC by a single point. DC United hits the road to take on Vancouver on Saturday. And this is just this wild first half. I'm going to let this just play out for you guys. It's another example of losing your man. This is just way too easy. Back post, the ball should not roll through. unbothered like that for anybody under any circumstance. And again, 3-3, just like that. But what we will do is roll on into rapid fire. Cardell, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, man, we're going to start with some sad news, man. Rest in peace to Blake Bozeman, son of Todd Bozeman, longtime college coach. And, Blake played his collegiate career at Morgan State. Popular dude in the basketball community in the DMV. Unfortunately, he was shot over the weekend, shot and killed outside of Lounge, DC. It's making his rounds around the area. It's just a sad situation. Big time realtor doing this thing in the area, helping a lot of athletes, mentoring a lot of young athletes as they try to transition from sports and to the second phase of their life, trying to get in the career field, corporate world, and all that. He was trying to help them with that. He's deep in the community. Wilson, I don't know if you remember, he came to the studio, picked our brains on some things a few years ago. So that shows you how humble he is, because guys in the area want to act like they got it all figured out. You know what I mean? And he didn't have no problem with that, man. And he always show respect, always. You supporting Mag, liking different posts, sharing different posts. Him and his pops, man. But for him to go out like this, it's just another reminder of the crab and evil in this area that I just despise to my core, because it's just unnecessary. And it wasn't just him. I believe another young lady lost her life as well, fighting in the hospital. A few others were shot. Ironically, it's in the same area where the Commanders running back got shot. Robinson, I don't know if it was last year or this summer. Yeah, he got that same area over there, right up 8th Street, that Trinidad area, right down the road from Benning Road, which is notorious. It's always been wild, as far as back I can remember, man. So, prayers up to his family, man, especially. It's just tough, man. It's tough because he just got married, got 3 kids, and just looking at it from the father point of view, man, it's just like, man, I can't imagine me not being here for my kids and whatever. Me and a couple of homies, I know they got their kids as well. They were saying the same thing, and just have his life snuffed out like that for really no reason. It's just sickening, man. So once again, prayers up to him, man, and obviously rest in peace. We'll move forward to WNBA side of things. Told you we was going to address it. News came out today that in her first season with the New York Liberty, Breanna Stewart has been named the 2023 WNBA MVP in the closest 3-way race in league history. It was announced. Stewart and the runner-up, Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun, were separated by 7 points, the smallest margin between the winner and runner-up in the awards history. The 13-point separation Stewart and the Las Vegas Aces Asia Wilson, who was third, marked the narrowest margin between the top 3 MVP vote getters in league history. Breanna Stewart received 446 total votes. Alyssa Thomas got 439, and Asia Wilson got 433, including a ridiculous 4th place vote. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother debate for another day, but I'll tell you, we're going to start with you, man. Just what are your thoughts on the final tally for WNBA MVP?
I mean, yeah, it's honestly, it's not surprising, to be completely honest. I had a feeling it would be between those 3, but it doesn't surprise me that it was Breanna Stewart. I mean, I really don't have nothing really surprises me when it comes down to voting, because everything is so I can't even get the word out. I'm trying. It's up to people to make their choices, and we've known in the past people have crazy ideas when it comes down to who they feel like deserves an award. So I try not to put too much stock in it, just because I feel like I'm gonna drive myself crazy trying to figure out what these people are looking at. Like you just sat here and said, Alyssa Thomas got a 4th place pick. Is kind of ludicrous.
No, Asia did. Asia.
Oh, Asia, excuse me. That's still ludicrous. Makes no sense. Could I have seen it go a different way? Definitely, you know. But again, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Wilson.
Yeah, I thought it should have been Asian at the very least. At and there's no disrespect to Stewie at all. I do think Stewie had a good year. However, we're talking about these awards that should have nothing to do with any outside influence outside than the specific season in which the award is for. Correct? Um, right. They were the reigning champs. They have been on it from the opening tip of the season to now. Again, reigning champ. I know I'm old and I hate how this sounds. Some things sometimes 1+1 = 2. No disrespect to the Liberty. You put yourselves together to beat the reigning champs. They're the reigning champs. Asia Wilson's been amazing this year. Mind you, Candace Parker went down and Asia just turned the dial up some. Somehow that has been conveniently forgotten this season. They had a whole Candace Parker because a whole bunch of people were like, oh my God, they get Candace Parker too. They didn't have Candace Parker this year. For a good chunk of the year, they did not have Candace Parker. Which meant what? Anything could have happened. However, they ended the regular season where they started the regular season. First. What are we doing here? And again, and that's just for Asian. I don't even have words that can be aired on that fourth place vote. But they need to do like the men's side and air out make the voting transparent because I need to see who did it so you can stand on it because that's crazy. That is absolutely bonkers. And then pretty much you had I think AT had the most first place votes, and this was decided pretty much by the second place votes.
Yep.
So again, I'm just trying to make it all work in my head.
But if it was decided by second place votes, Asia shouldn't have won that. But she got the least amount of votes for first place votes out of the three.
I don't know where we've gone in sports where we disregard winning. Like, I get it. It is MVP. However, like you came off a chip, you anchored your team to that. You do it again in the regular season, and we're leaving the postseason out of it because I'm not even trying to be petty. Whatever, leaving the postseason out of it for right now. But the Aces haven't. You brought up one bad game, so somebody has one bad game across what 40 games.
Mm-hmm.
One. We can point to one, bro. What are we doing? Just what are we doing? And this was an opportunity. Like this was an opportunity for the W and some of the stuff that comes their way in terms of how things are covered and the slants and the bias. And there was an opportunity right here. Whiffed. Not even an opportunity just for that. It was also just an opportunity to do the right thing. This just they messed up. They messed up bad. And the fourth place voter is ridiculous. How can someone get a fourth place vote but win DPOY? I don't understand any of it. Go ahead, Carter. I don't have any more words.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get to the facts. Best record overall in the league. We already know that. Asia was third in the league in points per game, literally 0.2 points behind Brianna Stu, who was 23rd, who averaged 23. Asia was 0.3 rebounds behind Alyssa Thomas for number one in rebounds per game. So she's top 3 in both of those. As were not all 3. Because Alyssa wasn't top 3 and all that, but for the most part, all 3 of them were top 3 in points per game and rebounds per game. But then you get to you look deeper into the box score. Asia led the league in total blocks and blocks per game. She led the league in player efficiency, and she led the league in defensive rating and defensive win shares. It is just she was literally you can make an argument she was literally the best player on both ends of the floor, and That's rare. That's very hard to do. That's rare. Even on the men's side, when you look at the history of the game, there's only been two players that did that, and that's Jordan and Olajuwon, where you were literally the best offensive player and defensive player at the same time. Whenever you stepped on the floor, those are only two that can really do that. When you think about, you can go all the way back to Bill Russ and all that. Only one there, he was the best. You see what I'm saying? Well, he could be iffy on defense and all that. And you know, offense, you're gonna put numbers up. You could do all the way there to now. All right, but we on the women's side. I just don't see how you can, if you literally watch the game and it's not politics involved and all that, how you could say Asia wasn't the best. I really thought this was her war easy. You know what I mean? And I know Alyssa Thomas was having a monster year. You know what I'm saying? But when it matters, man, and they haven't let up, and they had every reason to let up because they're coming off a championship. So for them to come even more hungry with Candace going down, not miss a beat, that's impressive. That's her leading the way. Because if she don't do what she got to do, it's easier to focus on Kelsey and Chelsea and Jackie. They don't win this many games. It's as simple as that. We got to do a better job in the media, man, overall. And I know it's not literally us. I'm talking in general. You got to stop simping, man. That New York media, this is the reason why it happened. The New York media, that's her hometown. They're going to favor the hometown girl. Let's keep the buck. And that UConn bias shit, that kills me. This ain't got nothing to do with that. That's college, bro. Ain't got nothing to do with that. Even with the New York Liberty, who are they pumping up to be the face of that team for the last few years? INS. See what I'm saying? And we all know she's not the best player on that team. See what I'm saying? So they got to cut that political stuff out, man, because these MVP awards at the pro level, that equates to money. That equates to resume. That equates to a lot of things for these players who bust their ass to earn it. Now, she was MVP. Like Stewie, we've literally seen her have better seasons than this year. That's what makes it crazy. We've seen her she played good, but for her sense, this is not her best season. She done had a few seasons better in Seattle. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? So how did she jump those two when it was clear it was a race between them two? All Asia had to do was stay consistent, but Alyssa was on her ass. If she started slacking up, Alyssa would have passed her. But then the players, I'm gonna get on the players too. Y'all gotta call these people out and stop just catering to a certain type of media base that y'all feel will help y'all brand. Cater to the real journalists who out here in the arenas watching y'all, because this is what you get. That's how you get the power to vote and stuff like that. So this is probably their fault as well, man. But it's a lot of disrespect, man. And I know Stewie's pretty honest. Obviously, she's not gonna give it back, but if she keep it real with herself, she know she didn't have a better season than those two, man. Because like Asia been on fire. It's been ridiculous. For her to maintain the pace she has, it was ridiculous, man. And honestly, thank God, and I don't wish injury on nobody, but the league better be glad that Candace went down. And they might have wanted to beat it. But all right, for question two, the second question, we're going to go on the NBA side of things. Paul George, as he prepares for his fifth season in Los Angeles, the 8-time All-Star recently stated on his Twitch live stream that he will be back on his bully-ish this season. The 33-year-old explained his mindset behind the statement, saying that he plans to dominate and destroy his opponents during the 23-24 campaign. Quote, 100%. That's exactly what I meant. I got to hold myself accountable to that. Every night I'm on the floor, I'm there to dominate, whether it's being more physical or going right at whoever I got to go at. You're going to feel me. I'm having that approach of every time I'm on the floor, I'm there to dominate and destroy you. George Mendes' 14th season in October also revealed that the statement he made was based on unnecessary talk from other players in the league. The training camp starting soon. George said his approach is to dominate and enjoy the last couple of years of his career. But it's all about legacy for me, George said. I got to finish strong and go back to loving the game and loving to dominate. If I come up short, that's on me, but that's how I got to approach it. Wilson, what are your thoughts on Mr. George's declaration?
I mean, that sounds good, bro. You got to be healthy and get through the year. Like, it doesn't matter. And if other people saying stuff, makes that happen and keeps you where you need to be. Shout out to those other people. I'm curious as to who those other people are, but I also just don't care that deeply. Steve Ballmer wants to see you and your partner on the court this year as much as possible, as I think all Clipper fans would. I'm not a Clipper fan, just saying. That's all Clippers fans would, because this is literally you're in one of those situations where it's you're going down in one of those what if things since y'all been together, because we just don't know, because you're never healthy together. We don't know what would have been, and right now it's looking like you're running out of time. That's what it's looking like. So that's great. If bully-ish means you play more this season, shout out to it. Like, I don't think anybody questions you as a player, Kawhi as a player. It's just, bro, we need to see y'all healthy. We need y'all available. We need y'all on the court. And I think anybody, for basketball purposes, from that standpoint, like, that's great. The talking, I don't really care. Just get through this season, be healthy, be available, and so we can all enjoy your game. Like, that's it.
I feel
Yeah, ditto. Um, you said Ballmer wants to see him and Kawhi on the court, preferably at the same time. We would like it to happen simultaneously, so we haven't seen that either. But yeah, I really hate to like downplay people having podcasts, but I really wish they would stop, because I feel like these podcasts pump them up to talk about all of this stuff that we don't necessarily need to know. It's just stuff that they want to talk about or whatever. And this is just something else that I don't really care about. I don't care. Like, I imagine that. So to me, it's like, so last year, were you not on your bully-ish? And it's like, now I'm going to do it this year. What about the year before? Like, it's just like, what's the point of this? Like, just go out and do it. Like, I don't understand why we got to make a declaration and announce it to the masses. I would just like to see you do it. That's about it. Pretty much. Like, I don't want you to talk about it. I would rather see you go out on the court and play.
yeah, man. The real move in silence, and look, me and the homies in basketball, we talk about all the time. This ain't, the running joke about Paul George is he's available more for his podcast than the actual games. You know what I mean? And so all this falls on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? But that's his area. The appearance of acting like you're doing it and you're going to do it carries more weight than actually doing it. Where that don't rock with us. Us that's older, man. We gotta see it, bro. Like, you gotta be on the floor. And bully-ish what? Like, what have you bullied? You see what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. You put up numbers, but a lot of dudes put up numbers in this area. Freedom of movement area. Like, like, who ain't did that? Have you won? Last time you was fairly healthy and did something of significance, wasn't Dame waving bye-bye? And that sent you to the Clipper lane when Kawhi called you to come out. Like, come on, man. Like, it ain't adding up. Because, see, bullies bully everybody. They don't go get with the bully who done got it done and then look at the bully the other guy. You see what I'm saying? And it's Paul George is a talented guy, man, but it's like he's a tease, man. That's the thing. He's a tease. He got the potential to be one of the all-time greats, but something missing. It's something missing, man. And he's getting by off that teasing. Like, yeah, man, that time it's something missing, man. And right now, what these guys today gotta understand is what you're saying fall on deaf ears if what we seeing and the results aren't adding up. And he's at that point now. We don't want to hear you talk. Salvatore Moroni, you gotta get that treatment. What makes you think I want to hear you talk? Do it. Lead the Clippers and stay healthy. Play damn near 82 games. Lead the Clippers to 60 wins and stuff like that. Get the number one seed. Then we can rock with you. But until all that happens, I mean, come on, man. You know more for podcasting than your game right now, and that's just real. So you gotta clean that up, man. Like, even Kawhi ain't played a lot of games. Was he balling in the playoffs before he went down? Yep. And he done got it done before. So y'all not in the same boat, man. So he gotta he got to step that up, man. Whatever, man. You know how these youngers are, man. They're gonna talk it before they walk it, man. It is what it is. Before we get out of here, yeah, my Broncos lost 70-20 to the Miami Dolphins. What answers can y'all provide for my team? Go ahead, man.
I don't know. That's the crazy thing. I was with y'all because I was like, Russ can't be as bad as last year, and it's not just him, so we can't even say that. But
Should have known better.
I don't know what happened. Like I think I'm still trying to analyze what happened in the game. It was
basketball numbers. Basketball numbers.
And look, this part kind of made me angry. At the same time, maybe not you, but when they said like, yeah, we didn't kick the field goal for the record because we wanted to be respectful. At 70, you wanted to be respectful. Like respect is gone. Like I don't know.
But they had 70 with 8 minutes left. And he put the third. He was being nice because if he kept 2 on the field, they damn sure have broke that shit. I thought they was going for 100, dog. I was like, yo, y'all got to fight or something. Y'all got to win something.
It was 35. What was it like 35-0 in the first half or something like that? I was like, it was bad. And then Waddle didn't play either. I was like, shit, if he'd have played, dang.
Bro, even the Chiefs with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill was like, dog, y'all doing too much. Don't do that. And they done put 50 on this like 3 quarters before. Like come on, what you talking about?
Yeah, I single-handedly lost my fantasy game. I would just like to say because I played against Raheem Mostert. So thanks for that. Yeah, 45 points.
Wilson, you got anything, man?
Wisdom.
Look, all I would say is that sometimes when people take over, you shouldn't always wipe the staff, right? I would simply say there was a young man employed by the Denver Broncos last year who was a defensive coordinator. The Broncos didn't exactly have everything in the world on defense. However, he knew he had a Pat Surtain, and he formed a very good defensive plan around Surtain. New person gets hired, they jettison said person off. Just want to share what Mr. Ajiro Avero, the last defensive coordinator last year. Last year, the Broncos ranked 7th in total defense, 10th in rushing defense. They were 2nd in third down conversion percentage. They held teams at just 34%. The team also finished top 10 in opponent points per drive, 7th in opponent red zone touchdown rate, and 4th in defensive 3-and-out percentage. Just saying, seems like a damn good coordinator. I know some coaches like to come in and sweep clean house or what have you. However, this person, whatever reason it may be, wasn't retained. He goes to the Panthers. The Panthers going through what they're going through, but the Panthers defense, while missing people, has been solid. This guy with the same Broncos defense was working wonders. I don't understand why they let that man out the building, but again, we could talk about black coaches in the NFL all day long, right? Like all day long, what it may be. But just for the Broncos, it's tough, man. Hopefully they figure something out. And the worst part about it is like I was watching some folks break down Russ from Sunday. The sad part, Russ wasn't bad on Sunday. Like that's the part why like some talking heads are going nuts. If you sat there, it looked like Russ actually looks like he's getting comfortable in the system, which is cool. But this is one of those things sometimes I think when offensive coaches come in and sometimes like that other side of the ball, this is why it's so key who you hire on the other side of the ball. Why it's so important. If you had a dude who had your unit in the top 10 in several categories, bro, I'm so sorry. There's no reason to let that man go. Look, run my defense, and I'm going to change the offense. I'll change the culture and all that, but you somehow were doing your job amidst all this craziness last year. You had your unit productive. which to me speaks volumes. It was a you know what show on the other side of the ball, and dude had that defense was beyond respectable. It was a top 10 defense. So you know what Mike McDaniel saw? He saw that's not dude. That dude wasn't there, and quiet as kept with all the folks out the Shanahan and McVay tree, the McDaniels, the Stefanskis, all that stuff. You know what coordinator gives them trouble? The dude who was on Denver's staff last year gives that group trouble. And what you saw was Mike McDaniels going, "Oh, dude, Avero's not here. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to think. I don't have somebody who was countering me during the game with the schemes because he was doing something. He was using Surtain as a weapon last year, as you should. A great defensive mind would. He was using that man as a weapon against other offenses. Just like what's his name on the Chargers, who's a horrible head coach. He was a good defensive coordinator for the Rams, Brandon Staley. They had Jalen Ramsey playing a star role in Los Angeles before they traded Ramsey. And that was something Denver was doing with Surtain. And it's just like, again, dude was top 10 on in a dysfunctional organization. There's no reason to move him. And Mike McDaniel just had fun. Because he didn't have to think, he didn't have to do anything. I can do whatever I want. He found somebody who's not good against that scheme. There's like 3 dudes in the league defensively that are good against this scheme. One of them is the Dolphins' new defensive coordinator. And some of the other ones, they're still in the buildings they're in. So I just want to, I'm not saying if Vero would have fixed everything, but they weren't putting 70 on that dude's unit. Like, that wasn't happening. I can promise you that.
You got to always start at the top. And for me, you know, Sean Payton, that's why I was silly for him to attack Hackett. We knew he did a bad job. But you coming in extra cocky and arrogant, you know what I'm saying? Like you Bill Belichick out, you got that resume. And then and now you fired off on that coach, and you're literally in the history books as the worst loss in our franchise history 3 games in. Like if this not, I don't know if people paying attention across sports. If this is not the period of stay humble, I don't know what it is. Because there's a lot of people getting their ass whooped across sports and in a lot of ways. Man. Like it's just do your job and let the other people speak for that. Like seriously, there's some humble pie going on here. And I feel that he needed that. Like you said. And Wilson, you can't even use the black card about letting black coordinators out the job. He hired Vance Joseph, who used to be our head coach. He's horrible. We could have told you that. You see what I'm saying? He's our defensive coordinator. Vance Joseph is our defensive coordinator.
He let a Vero go for Vance Joseph. Hey, look, you want to know what's worse? Do you know what that coaching tree does to Vance Joseph?
You said what about Vance Joseph?
I don't know if people know what that coaching tree does to Vance Joseph. They all love seeing Vance Joseph.
Seems like everybody likes seeing Vance Joseph. That's why he got fired the first time as a head coach. Like, bro, that's what I'm saying, Sean. Like, why would you restart? Why? Like, it didn't work here the first time. So why you go out and get him again? You know what I'm saying? For one, and then 2, like you said, if something ain't broke, you don't fix it. I'm keeping that. But see, you want to come in here acting like he a hero with this little narrative stuff about Hackett, so he just wiped the slate clean. And I get it to a certain extent. But if you was doing your job, I'm keeping you. Like Deion, when he went to Colorado, he brought his crew, but the guys that he knew were getting the job done, I'm keeping you. What's the point? So now we are literally the embarrassment of the sports world. Literally the embarrassment of the sports world. There's nothing more embarrassing than the Broncos right now. And I don't even know what to say moving forward. This started with Elway. He ain't getting. I'm always go back to him with arrogance and ego and arrogance. He blew it up. But I don't even know what to say because it's not like you're gonna get players in free agent. Like you could trade for players that might be out there just on the couch that might be able to help. You're not gonna draft where you can't trust the staff for anything right now because can they draft? You see what I'm saying? Because look what I mean. Y'all got hired? Y'all came into the draft. What are the picks doing? Like the fact that people were looking at Russell Wilson trying to put blame on him, talking about he could have scored more. Y'all really expect this man to put 70 up and keep up with the Miami Dolphins? Like that's what y'all really like? Come on, man. Like let's really think about this. So it's just I just did that past y'all, man, because I don't know what they do. Like I'm looking at the players and they already defeated. It looked like it's week 17 and we like, you know what I'm saying? Like 12 out this month, and they just ready to go on vacation. You look like that in week 3.
This picture is terrible too. Like
that was the least offensive picture I could find, and I'm not being funny. I was looking
not
for a little bit
because it looked like he's sitting like with his knees, like he's sitting with his feet.
Every other picture is a freaking line dance in the end zone. So I was trying to find something that wasn't that. Like it, and then the worst part, like you're talking about, I haven't heard Pat Surtain's dad say a word during his son's time in the NFL. All of a sudden, after this, now he's talking.
It's embarrassing. Yes,
he wants his kid out of there now. Like, yeah,
I can't blame him.
And then the worst part about that is, with the 5th-year option or whatever, as high as he got drafted, there's leverage. This is nasty work. And like you said, there's a whole lot of humble being served around right now. Bro, you in the record books. There's 70 with 8 minutes left, and the record books will be shown Mike McDaniel's mercy on your soul, because you did not have an answer. That's nasty work.
And he lucky Hackett ain't come out there like, yeah, keep my name out. Like he would have, I'd have fired, like, keep my name out your mouth, dog. Yeah, it ain't that easy. You had Drew Brees. Yeah, you know. Yeah, look like he carries you, partner. Let's keep it a buck. So yeah, it's on you, Wilson. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to live that. Like I can't even admit I'm a Broncos fan. Like, who you roll for? I'm just a fan of the sport, man. That's what I'm about to say. Just a fan of the sport.
So I just watch football. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Week in, week out. Nah, it's a crazy situation. I'm really interested to see what happens because, right. And it's almost about that time where some of your picks from a couple years ago, like, they're not going to want to re-up. There's no reason after this.
But we had players saying we've never won. Like, I've lost since I came here.
Dog, Garrett Bowles looked like he was done with everything. I think that was who had that
quote.
He had me feeling bad for him. Garrett Bowles was like, I've been here for 7 years and I haven't won. Bro, this is horrible. Like you said, going back to Johnny Goldenarm, this is not a good look. Just from that to this, but again, we'll see what happens, man. But again, hopefully you guys do take heed to what Cardell said. This is a great time to shut your mouth and do your job. If you play professional sports, just shut your mouth and do your job. Short of you winning a chip, shut your mouth, do your job. Karma hitting crazy back right now. Like it's counterpunching crazy right now. So just
listen. If we somehow pull it together and win a bowl, y'all should feel how I feel right now about y'all team, because ain't no way in hell we should even get close to nothing like that. That's impossible. Something that happened. It's just impossible. So yeah, let's pray.
That's all you can do at this point. If you never, that's what you can do. Because, bro, and then lastly, I think I saw the thing. I don't even know how true it was. You had some folks talk about Mike McDaniels felt some type of way because he wasn't hired.
Honestly, I wish the Dolphins would have put us in the record book. Like I'm like Drago. If he dies, he dies, man. That's my mentality. Y'all pros, baby. Y'all getting a check. You getting a check. This pros, bro.
Man, that's nuts. But again,
he gave Sean Payton mercy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. He said mercy.
He gave Sean Payton mercy that Payton didn't give Hackett mercy. Like he showed his peer in the coaching ranks mercy. And that's great, man. You know what I'm saying? So he gave him multiple lessons.
Bro, they had 70 with 8 minutes and then chill. And the worst part is the backups were gaining yards, and he had to call bad plays to stop them from getting. Like, the backups were going forward. Like, the backups were like, we want some.
It
was like, all right,
ain't no time to play around. I'm trying to stay.
Let's run a counter right into the middle of the defense. After dude burst for like 35, bro, that is, I can only imagine at your big age what you're saying to Mike McDaniel during that handshake. What do you say?
Sorry.
We want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. We look forward to talking with you all next week. Just a reminder, every Wednesday as early as 9 a.m., this weekly show is available on our Roku channel. All you have to do if you have a Roku television or device is go to the search box, type in the Focus TV, double tap OK, and you have added the channel. It's a great week to add the channel. It's a great month to add the channel. It's like basketball's around the corner, man. Like it's basketball's here, I guess I should say. Just basketball's here. You're gonna have this show weekly, and obviously other things going on. We have, we're gonna have Wizards starting soon. College basketball is pretty much here. A whole lot of other stuff popping up on the channel as we go forward. So don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com, and just one last reminder, get over to finestmag.com. The latest issue of Finest Magazine is out. Thank you all. We'll see y'all next week.